back to another video. So today I'll be discussing something that has just totally gone under the radar for a lot of fans, or at least not been talked about in a while. And that's the child soldiers of WoF. So many dragons were forced to face battles as literal preteens and teenagers, and came out on the other side of it so different, if they even survived in the first place. It truly is such a saddening topic, but an important one nonetheless. The scars of the War of SandWing Succession are not going away anytime soon. Thank you so much to WoF Enjoyer for this idea. It definitely is one I'm interested in delving into with you guys. But before I begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Darvlo95, Thistle, Noobto, Pyronuke, Avril, Pancake, Gascarada, Adaquin, Alex Cleaver, Shadow Hunter, 𝙈𝙊𝙍𝙬𝙀, Moonclaw, and Isaac. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. We'll all be going over some specific characters and tribes that had dragons affected by the usage of child soldiers. There are tons of characters we don't even know about that were also impacted. Honestly, it'd make for a good winglet to explore that side of the war. But today, I'll be talking about the situations we are aware of. One of the first, yet surprisingly least talked about, cases is Anemone. She was only 2 or 3 dragon years old, which would be about a preteen by our standards, when she was forced to start trying to use her animus abilities for violence. Blister wanted Anemone to kill Burn with them. That way the war would be easier won. And if there was anyone else she and Coral sought dead, they could just unleash the young princess for the job. As we know, animus powers come with a cost, even if it isn't exactly the black and white soul corrupting we once thought. But if Anemone were to grow up only using her magic for evil forever, she really would have gone down an even worse degree than what we saw in the books. I can only imagine how heartbreaking that would have been to see. A child turned killer, all for a war that didn't even need to keep going, or exist. Anemone shouldn't have been their secret weapon, especially being mistreated like that. Whirlpool may have even desired to make her go insane on purpose. That way she'd kill Coral, despite having no desire for that power originally. If just the killing of one dragon brought about so many changes for her, imagine how many dozens would have done. Even though Anemone didn't end up having to go down that exact path, it's still sad to think about how much worse things could have gotten. The MudWings are very well known for the use of child soldiers in the war. Sibs were trained as troops from the moment they hatched, needing to follow after and copy the behaviors of older dragons. We all know what happened to Crane. Now the rest of her family had to watch. It's just awful what war caused all around, especially since these characters were all born into a world where it was totally normal for them to just have no choice but to enter the tribe army. Then there comes Icicle, who is the dragon that murdered Crane on the battlefield. And while Sora demonizes it due to the trauma she had from that, Icicle being part of the war in the first place also wasn't really her fault either. I actually made a whole video on this. What the war did to everyone was just awful. Children shouldn't be taught to kill or sent off to battles. It's the fault of the generations who started this conflict, not the characters who are literal minors. Nearly every tribe was affected by the almost 20 years of battles. That's tons of characters who only knew that as their life. They could have been born into the war and died during it, not knowing anything else. All the tribes are guilty of many things during this time, but the aspect of Dragonette soldiers and tons of them genuinely gives me the chills. It wasn't a choice, and they should have been raised to know a better world. Thankfully, the era of physical conflict in WoF seems to have been extinguished on this scale, at least for the current and lasting present. Queens are attempting to reach more diplomatic solutions, even within their own tribes. heir versus mother fights may finally be over for good. It's great that characters have learned from this, and that new hatchlings won't have to suffer through the same pain. But I just feel so bad for everyone whose lives were dictated by the war. I understand how they didn't know a way to live life or even think after. I hope they get the help they need to cope from that very serious trauma, and that a much better and peaceful life is on the way for all of them. What do you guys think about all this? What are some of the most interesting examples of the concept you've spotted? Let me know down below. I'm so excited for this Saturday because we might be getting some huge WAF news, so stay tuned, y'all. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.